Hello there. The other evening I was talking with some family members about games, about board games, and how long it is since we've played any board games. And then I started remembering that as a child, I'd been bought one Christmas a box which was a compendium of games, and it included, from memory, Ludo, Snakes and Ladders, and I can't remember what the other two things were anyway, but I thoroughly enjoyed playing them, particularly Snakes and Ladders anyway. Up the ladders and down the snakes. Mind you, someone that I know, not a million miles away, um, used to end up going down the ladders and up the snakes. So I think there was a bit of confusion there. Anyway, it had started a bit before that because my brother, who's 11 years older than me, he used to go to a friend's house and he played Monopoly with a couple of friends, and I was intrigued by this because I used to tag along with him, and I was interested to see all these notes and the playing pieces, the top hat and the boot, etc. And of course, I was so young then that I actually thought that the money that was in Monopoly was real money. Should be so lucky, but it was interesting anyway. And years later, I was shown how to play it, and I got a little bit addicted to this, and I played it on and off for years with school friends and such like. I used to go round to this lad's house called Peter Lane, and we'd play Monopoly, and it'd go on for hours and hours, and then we'd say, right, play another game, we'll play another game. So it went on. And houses, putting houses on properties, and then hotels, and many different things. Pass go, collect £200, go to jail, all that thing. So it was very enjoyable. And then many years later, when I got married, my wife said to me, you haven't played drafts for years, have you? Well, we'd got the checker things, the round pieces for drafts, but we hadn't got a board, so I had to make a board so that we could play drafts anyway. So that was a bit of good fun. I don't know what happened to that board that I made out of a bit of card that I had knocking about. Then the one day I was in a place in the West Midlands called Solihull, and I was outside a toy shop, and I was taking my son, who was a very little boy, who was in a Britex pushchair, the things that collapse and what have you. And we stopped outside this toy shop, and there were two ladies there. They were doing market research, and they asked me a couple of things about games and did I play them, and I said, oh yes, I did. So they took my name and address, etc. And about 2 weeks later, I got some vouchers through the post for £25, which bought a lot more then than it does now. So we ended up spending those vouchers in the toy shop on board games, etc. So that was a bit of good fun. I'm trying to remember what they were. One of them was Scrabble. I never really got to terms with that. In fact, I've still got the Scrabble board here, and it rotates, this Scrabble board. Another thing was Skirid, a Monopoly board. That was it. Managed to get that, and then another game was about antiques, about buying and selling antiques, and I think I gave that away to a relative. Then later on came Trivial Pursuits. This was many years later, and I thought, oh well, this is fascinating. So we enjoyed playing that. We played that with some neighbours in our first house up here, and we got a little bit locked into that. And my brother sent us the cards from America. He thought, oh, this would be handy, so he sent them us in the post. Unfortunately, they were for the Canadian version of Trivial Pursuit, so we just didn't have a clue about most of the questions there Anyway, coming around, when we had this discussion the other night about board games and Monopoly, my wife said to me, she said, well, you know the reason why I stopped playing board games with you, don't you? I said, no, what's that? She said, because you took it too seriously. She said, you were buying properties and you were extremely competitive at playing Monopoly. And she said, it was like, with the properties, she said, it was like Rachman. Many people will remember Peter Rachman or will have heard him. And she said, you were so competitive over that. Yet, if it looked like I was winning, you would concede the game. I can't remember that, but there again, I suppose I would say that, wouldn't I? But I suppose as things have changed down the years, people playing computer games and the board games have they've sort of faded into the background, the old days of Ludo and Snakes and Ladders and things like that. They've sort of faded into the background, really, so not so many people are playing them. Another game that I'd acquired, which I don't have now, was called Totopoly, and that was a horse racing game, and you laid the board out, and then you went round this sort of circuit, etc., with the horses, and then they were stabled at such and such a place, and there was money involved. Then part of the way through the game, once you got so far, you turned it over, and it was a race course, so that was quite interesting. That's long since gone. I noticed somebody was advertising in a local paper saying, had anybody got this? Had anybody got it? So I rang up the number and I let them have it anyway. But I've realised since that they were quite sought after. But there you go. That's my incidents of games that we used to play in terms of board games. I wonder if you were addicted to board games at all. Some of my friends, they veered into the playing chess, or a bit more highbrow even than that of playing Mahjong. I wasn't really one for card games. I've never been very keen on them anyway. But let me know what you think. Anyway, let me know if you've got any memories, if this has brought anything back to you. I'd love to hear. You can leave comment. I always try and respond to comments if I possibly can. And if you haven't already subscribed, please think about subscribing, and then you're not going to miss any of the videos that I'm making. Okay, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye for now.